Hi guys, hope you all had a great weekend and you enjoyed your extra day off. So we're into week 2 of the school closure and we only have 2 lessons this week. So we'll go back over just the last little revision exercise on decimals and percentages and we'll move on to a new thing called patterns. Just make sure that you have all your work from last week uploaded to the homework section here on OneNote. I have to report back to the year head and see who has submitted and who has not, because that's really the only way I can see who's engaging and who's not engaging, and to keep an eye on what you're doing and what you're getting right and what you're getting wrong to see what progress we're making. Okay, so we'll have a quick look, and a really quick look at this revision exercise, because it's really just a rehash of everything that we've been doing over the past couple of weeks since way before Christmas. So in decimals and percentages, and I've put the solutions up there as well, and then we'll move on to our new content for this week. So we go back to the OneNote, which is here, and we'll have a look at in the decimals and percentages folder you have the revision exercise, and over here I've put the solutions. So before I get you to go and correct the solutions, I get you to pause the video in a second and it's just a quick kind of overview of how you do each one as opposed to actually doing them. So for your question 1, you're looking for the value of the 9, so the value of the 9s all along. So remember, the first one after the decimal place is going to be, so this is going to be 9 hundredths. This one here is going to be 9 thousandths. This one here is just going to be a value of 9. This one here is going to be a value of 90, and so on. This one over here is going to be a value of 900. VII is going to be a value of 9,000, and so on and so forth. And we did loads of those before. Part B, you're looking to write them as percentages. So remember, when you want to write something from a decimal to a percentage, you just multiply them all by 100. So this one here, for example, if I multiply by 100, I'm moving my decimal places 2 places to the right, and that's going to, the answer is going to be 9%, and so on. If I'm moving this 2 places, this one here is going to be 0.9%, and so on. Okay, if I have a full number like this, 1.2 is going to be, I have to move the decimal place again, 2 to the right, so it's going to be 120%. So always multiply by 100, or move your decimal place 2 spaces to the right. For fractions as decimals, you just divide them in. On your calculator, 11 divided by 50. So this one here changes on your calculator, 11 divided by 50, and write down the answer. If it gives you the same answer again, so your calculator might give you 11 over 50, and you say, that's frustrating, I want it as a decimal. Well, then remember, you press this button here, the SD button on your calculator, and that will change it into a decimal for you. Going on to question 2 then, to 1 decimal place. So remember, we did decimal places and significant numbers. So decimal places, so this one here, we're after 1 decimal place, we're always looking at the second number after the decimal place. If it's greater than 5, go up. If it's less than 5, go down. So this one here is going to work out as 2.8, but we did lots of those before. If you're going from a percentage to a fraction, put them all over 100. So if I pick this one here, 17%, it's going to be 17 over 100. And then I'm looking for, is there any numbers that divide into the top, divide into the bottom, because the question says in their simplest form. So break them down. So if I go for this one here, that's going to be 55 over 100. But I know the 5 divides into 55 11 times, and 5 divides into 100 20 times. So that's what our simplest form is going to be for part IX. Okay, and the same with here, for fractions into percentages, you just multiply by 100 over 1. So if I have 3 over 10 by 100 over 1, all of them by 100 over 1, and it will give you your answer. And again, the answers are over on the left-hand side. 6 is 20% as a fraction decimal, so we're just going and changing again from a fraction into a decimal. So it's going to be 20 over 100, or 1 over 5, and then use your calculator to change it to a decimal. I'm going to go on and look at all these are kind of the same. Just this last question is very, very similar to one that we did above, and one that I had to do a re-audio because it was incorrect. So if I go on here and have a look, Avian has a certain amount of money in her bank account on a Friday morning. During the day, she carries out the following transactions. So she writes 4 checks, she withdraws 200, then she lodges some of it back. So what we're going to do then, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to tell you how to do it. At the end of the day, her balance is 938.90. So the total value of the checks. So for this one here, we're just going to add up 1, 2, 3, and 4. For the second part, the total value of her withdrawals made on that day. So as all we're going to do is we're going to add 200 to whatever we got for part 1. So for part 2 is going to be you're going to add whatever answer you got for part 1, add 200 onto it to get that. Difficult part then, the amount lodged to her account. So how much did she lodge to her account? So she lodged 2 amounts. So she lodged 3/4 of the amount withdrawn from the ATM. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get how much did she lodge the ATM? So we're going to have to get 3/4 multiplied by 200. So that's going to give us some of it. And then she also lodged 70% of the value of the 4 checks written. So whatever answer you got for the total value of the checks written, so whatever answer you got for this part, you're going to go 70% multiplied by whatever that answer is and get your answer. And you're going to have an answer here, add them up, and that's going to give you the answer to part 3. Okay, and work the problem backwards to find out how much money was in Avian's account at the beginning of the day. So for the last part, you know, well, okay, at the end of the day, it was 938.90. And you're going to say, well, I was going to check what the answers are to the sums here so I can fill them in. So you say, okay, so we had 938.490 at the end of the day, minus 184.40, so that must have been what was lodged completely, and this was the total amount withdrawn. So the final answer you should be getting is €1,003.66. So that will answer the rest of that question for you. Okay, and it's exactly the same as the one we did last Wednesday. It's just different names of different people. So if you have any issues around any of those questions, you're not sure, what you can do is just stick a message up as an email or up as an update in the Schoology group. But what I want you to do now, I want you to go back to your homework, because when I go into your homework in the OneNote, which I've been doing, you'll see there I have all the files open with everyone's homework open because I've been looking through it. But what I want you to do is I want you to go pause the video, go into your homework in your homework section of OneNote, and I want you to correct your own homework. Tick where you went right, and as we do in class, write in the correct answer. See where you went wrong. That's the most important part of this whole thing, is correcting and improving and learning from your mistakes. So and I'd like to see those corrections done in your homework folder. So you can retake a picture of the corrected version, or you can correct it directly in the homework folder. So you can pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. Right, so that is the end of decimals and percentages. And if you're not sure, you want to try more questions, there's so many back all through the chapter that we've been doing, either before Christmas or after Christmas. They're all done now, all those different types. There's loads of examples of each type as you go down through the OneNote page there. But we're going to go out of there for a second, and I'm going to go into a new folder that I've made for you. So I have made a new folder here called Patterns, and Patterns is chapter 11 in the book. Okay, so there's actually 2 chapters in it. I made 2 folders, but I haven't put it in the second one yet. Chapter 32 is a different type of patterns, but we'll get to that later on. We're going to focus on chapter 11 for the moment. And a pattern is a set of numbers, objects, or diagrams, or pictures that occur in a predictable manner. So if you have a look here, there's 4 dots in this part, there's 6 dots in this part, and there's 8 dots in this part. So what I'm saying to you in here, if I said to you, right, I have the numbers 2, 4, 6. Finish the pattern with the next 2 spaces. I'm sure most of you could say to me, oh yeah, well that's 2, 4, 6, this is going to be 8, and this is going to be 10. I'm sure if I said to you that I have 1 dot and then I have 3 dots, and then I have 5 dots, you could, in the boxes, draw for me the next 2 amount of dots. I'm sure you could. Which would be, obviously it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots in there. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dots in there. So it's occur in a predictable manner. So you should be able to guess the next 2 by the pattern. So you can spot there, there's a pattern here, in that the difference between this number and this number is 2, and the difference between this number is 2. So the difference between this number 6 and the next number is going to be 2, and the difference between this and the next number is going to be 2. Same here. The difference here is 2. The difference here is 2. The difference here is going to be 2. 1, 3, 5, 7, and the difference here is going to be 2. Okay, and that's a pattern or a sequence. Okay, right, here's another example for you. Excuse me. Another one here, a 6-block repeating pattern made up of the colour blocks is shown. If the pattern continued, what colour would each of the following blocks be? So what they have there is they have a blue one, a green one, a red one, a green one, a red one, a yellow one. So you say, well, this is block 1, this is block 2, this is block 3, this is block 4, this is block 5, and this is block 6. And you say, well, okay, well, what do we reckon block 8 is going to be? Well, we can only assume that that pattern is going to repeat itself. So it's going to be blue, green, red, yellow. That's the pattern. So then we can assume the 7th one is going to be blue, and then the 8th one is going to be green. So our 8th block is going to be green, because this pattern is going to keep repeating itself. So we could keep going as long as we wanted to. Then we say, well, the 12th block then is going to be, well, this is 7, this is 8, this one's going to be 9, this one's going to be 10, this one's going to be 11, and this one's going to be 12. So we say the 12th block is going to be yellow. And then the 14th block, okay, we're up as far as 12. 12 was yellow, so we repeat the sequence again. This is going to be 13, and this is going to be 14. This is going to be red 15, green 16, red 17, yellow 18. But our 14th block is going to be green. Okay, that's just a number of patterns. You can do it with numbers, you can do it with dots, you can do it with Lego blocks, you can do it with colours and shapes and all sorts of different things to give a load of different types of patterns. Okay, so a repeating pattern is made up of shaped tiles as shown. So have a look here. We have a load of shaped tiles. We have triangle, triangle, square, circle, triangle, triangle, square, circle. Okay, so it looks there we have 2 patterns, and they've given us the first 2 sequences. So we say, well, I'm going to stick a few numbers on them just so. We tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, tile 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or I could number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because you can see there's a break there. Here's the first pattern, and here's the second pattern. What shape is the 14th tile? So we can count them up. And we can say, right, well, the 14th tile, well, if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 gives us 2 patterns, then we can keep going on. We can say, okay, well, this is going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So our 14th shape is going to be a triangle. Oh, it actually gives us the answer down the bottom here. Look, so our 14th shape is going to be a triangle. We can work out the 38th tile by just doing the same thing, by just doing some counting. So we know what we do know is that this pattern repeats itself every 4 times. So we know that if we take this, let me see different color. If we take this one here, this is tile 4, which is a circle. And tile 4, being the circle, is also going to be tile 8, 16, 20, 24, 28. So every 4th number is going to be a circle. If we go to tile number 2, it's a triangle. We know that 2 is going to be a triangle, and 6 is going to be a triangle, and 10 is going to be a triangle, and so on and so forth. So if we want to find out a more difficult one, we don't want to count all the way up. We want to count to the 27th tile. What we can do is, so number 27 is going to be 6 times 4 plus 3. So we have, how many times is it going to have to repeat to get up as far as 27? Well, it's going to have to repeat 4, 8, 12, 16, 24. So it's going to have to repeat 4 times, 6 times, and then add 3, because we're adding 3 on, because 24, to get between 24 and 27, you have to add 3. The same, we go over here and we have a look at the 38th tile. And you're going to say, right, well, how far do we have to get up to get as far as 38? Now, you could do the counting. You could say, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and count to get up as far as number 38. But the easy way to do it, save yourself some time, is if you multiply 9 by 4, so you're going to have 9 repeats of 4, and that will get you up as far as 36, but you're looking for number 38. So add 2 onto that. And that will give you what it is. And it is a triangle. There's 2 ways to do it. But if they ask you for a tile number 265, you're going to have to use the sums as opposed to in the counting, because you'll be counting all day. You only have a few minutes for these questions. For part D, what shape is the 100th tile? You say, okay, well, they repeat every 4 times. So 4 shapes gives you 1 pattern. You say, well, what about how far do we get to 100? Well, how many 4s are in 100? There's 20, and down here at the sum, there's 25 4s in 100, and it's bang on at the end of a sequence. So we don't add anything to it. And that will tell us that the 100th tile is a circle. Okay, so have a think, have a read through that again. When you get to the questions on this now, go back to this and have a read through it of how you find out the 100th tile, or one of those really, really far into a sequence. Okay, so what I want us to do for today, and I'm happy if we get these done. I want you to have a go at these kind of questions. So for homework today, and I'll write it in here for you, I want you to do all of these questions. They're quite short. It won't take you too long. But you'll have half an hour. You'll probably do it within the hour of the lesson. And then we're going into more complicated patterns. So different sequences of patterns and looking at first terms and second terms. But I will be happy if everyone gets this done now today and gets it uploaded. And have a check. Have you done last week's homework from Monday and last week's homework from Wednesday, and have you uploaded them and have you corrected them? So when I go in, can I see the corrections to your homework? So I'm going to write this in on the right. Homework for next class. So it's exercise 11.1, question 1 to 6. And some of you have asked, it was in the poll, there was a mixture of happy with the videos and or would want a mix. So we might consider, we'll see this week, because there's a kind of a lot of teachers want you for live classes, but next week we might do both lessons, or 3 of the lessons, or 2 of the 3 lessons. We'll see in live classes. For now though, you can ask questions online. You can email me if you're not sure, but try and get those done today now and get them uploaded, and go back and check, make sure you have your corrections done for all of the exercises. You have 2 exercises plus the revision exercise plus this one here should all be in the homework section of your OneNote, and I can report back then to Miss McDonald that everyone is engaging and all seem to be doing okay. Any questions, get on to me. Have a nice day, and I will see you next time.